Hi everyone, my name is Dan. I've been working with Quench for 2 years on their plugin project and 1 year on the Wavelength project. So plugin is a project that runs in mental health inpatient settings for young people aged 12 to 25, funded mainly by Youth Music. So Wavelength, slightly different. It's a community-based programme for young people with mental health conditions aged 12 to 18, and that's supported primarily by the BBC Children in Need. Both projects focus on creative music making to achieve musical and wellbeing outcomes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the training that I've received with Quench and how that's impacted on my facilitation. So before starting with Quench, I'd never worked within a hospital setting, so I had no idea what the plugin environments were actually going to be like. I was prepared in theory after the planning meetings and reading the case studies that Quench gave to me from the years before. But it wasn't really until I stepped into one of those environments that I really understood the place I was working in and the young people that I was working with. So looking back to when I first joined Quench, I can see the huge progression that I've made as a music leader and as a person, and I feel like I still have a lot to learn as well. The first thing that I learned as a facilitator was to reconsider my expectations of the outcomes of each of the sessions. So you have to enter with quite an open mind to what could be created, being particularly mindful of the setting as well, which emphasises how important the planning stages are and how difficult the planning can be as well. So you really do have to try and meet the young people where they are and try and work with what they bring to the session, musical or otherwise. A lot of the skills that you acquire as a facilitator do come through that face-to-face experience with the young people and sort of learning what does and what doesn't work. But the training that Quench offer their facilitators is so valuable and so applicable to the job and beyond as well. So the first bit of training that I'm going to talk about is the Youth Mental Health First Aid training. And that made me reassess the way that I approach the sessions. The course was packed with a vast amount of knowledge that I'm still gradually digesting and applying to my work. One of the topics that was covered was the process of becoming aware of our own frame of reference, which covers things like socioeconomic status, cultural influences, spirituality, etc. And understanding this concept is crucial to seeing things from a young person's perspective. And this became particularly useful for me when reflecting on the kinds of music that the young people want to make, and to have the additional layers of insight when they talk about how they're feeling. So that training for me initiated a retrospective insight about the music created by the young male inpatients at the Ardently FCAMS, a forensic medium secure unit, which tends to deal with more taboo and challenging subjects. It's vital to understand that young person's frame of reference in relation to the experiences that they're writing about. In addition, the songs written by the young people at Parkview Clinic, which are often about very challenging emotions or traumatic experiences, which the Youth Mental Health First Aid made easier for me to understand. The Youth Mental Health First Aid is a course that Quench have used for years and continues to be one of the programmes that the more experienced music leaders point to as being one of the best training they've had. You do feel more equipped when you've got it. It makes you feel more confident walking into a setting and knowing that you are prepared for a potentially challenging situation. So the second bit of training I'm going to talk about is the Autism Awareness training given to us by Autism West Midlands. This training was provided by Birmingham Children's Hospital free of charge as part of Quench's partnership with them. So a lot of the young people that we meet in the settings live with autism, so having a really good understanding of the condition means that we can tailor our approach to them. And a lot of the time we're responding to what the young people want to do in the moment. So being mindful of ways that autism can affect thought patterns and communication is really important to what direction we steer the session in. So one particular case that I applied this training to straight away was with another co-leader, Katie, Ardently FCAMS, where there was a young man there who, after I changed my approach with him, became way more responsive to us and stayed for the full length of the sessions, which he wasn't doing before. And it was a bit of a light bulb moment. So I gave him more time to process what I was saying, made my instructions more concise, and allowed him to go off topic a little bit in the sessions, and also gave him a bit of uninterrupted individual working time, which was really beneficial for him. And we generally refrained from giving him lots of information and instructions, which also really helped. And it's really good knowing that autism training allowed the creative music making side to be more effortless for them in their world, which is very challenging, very difficult. So even now I come back to the resources that were given to me in that training for reference, and I feel now that I actively seek out ways to make my facilitation more inclusive for people who are living with autism. So these two valuable courses, the Youth Mental Health First Aid and the Autism Awareness, have really shaped my mindset as a facilitator and changed my approach, not only with the Quench settings, but kind of beyond that in my own life and understanding. So thanks for watching. If you're interested, I wrote a blog to go alongside this video, which explains working alongside another music leader and how that both helped us to develop and learn from each other and reflect on our work. And you can find that blog in the plugin resources section of the Quench website. Thanks so much for watching.